I would like to thank Ashton Lewis for sending me this story that's coming out of the Bronx, New York. And this story right here is extremely disturbing and in some for people shocking and sad at the same time. This woman's name is Wendy Martinez. And you're probably wondering why there's two different pictures. You see a picture of her on the right, and then on the left is a picture of a door. Well, apparently, over the weekend, she went to go answer her door, and she looked through the peephole to see who was there, but on the other side of that door she would not expect to see what she saw. So she looked through that peephole, and on the other side of it was a gun. Someone put a gun to the peephole she was at and fired a single bullet, killing her just about looking through the peephole. Now you're probably wondering why in the hell someone would do that. Like, did this person know her or anything like that? Well, this person knew of her, but only through her son. Because according to the article, it says that the person who shot her had ties to her son, and they said her son was a part of a gang or something to that effect. I'm going to read the article, and that's why they said it was a hit against her. So it was definitely a target. They probably meant to kill the son, but ended up killing her instead. But let me go ahead and read this article. A Bronx mom who simply went to answer the doorbell over the holiday weekend was fatally shot through the peephole in a street justice hit tied to her gangbanger son. Wendy Martinez, age 45, year-old hospital receptionist, was in her Concourse Village apartment with her 14-year-old son Saturday when the doorbell rang around 9:45 p.m. Her eldest son, a suspected gangbanger who was due to appear in court Monday for a 2014 fatal shooting, was not in the apartment at the time. Martinez asked who it was but got no reply. She asked again after a second ring and then slid open the peephole when she heard no response. That's when the gunman pumped a single fatal shot through the viewing slot that struck Martinez's face. There was surveillance video of the killer at the building, but he carried an open umbrella to shield his identity. The killer fled, and Martinez's teenage son hid in the bedroom and called 911. He was so shocked and frightened that had to be coaxed out of hiding when investigators arrived. Cops believe the cold-blooded killing is connected to Martinez's older son, Brian Solano, age 25, who faces murder charges in the December 8, 2014 shooting of death of 21-year-old Willie Laura. Solano is a reputed Trinitarios gang member, according to police sources, who says the mom's apartment may have been targeted by the rival Bloods offshoot, the Eaton Boys. Now, let me stop right there right quick. That name, that gang name, Trinitarios, where do we remember that name from? Let me rewind it back a little bit for those of y'all who may have forgotten. I actually did a video about this. Remember a few months ago over the summer where there was a boy, a young teenage boy who they called Junior, the little, I think he may have been Dominican or Puerto Rican. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. Remember when it was mistaken identity and they went in that store and they dragged him out and beat him to death and stabbed him with those machetes? The gang that her son was a part of is the same gang that did that to that boy. That story was everywhere. It's died down, of course, since then, but it was a huge story for like a good 2 weeks. That's how I remember that name of that gang. Solano was on Long Island with his girlfriend when his mother was shot. That's a gang-related hit, a source said of Martinez's murder. This is Street Justice. Solano had a court hearing in his Slay case scheduled for Monday, but law enforcement sources both said the defense and prosecutions are now seeking an adjournment following his mother's grisly slaying. Gangbangers had made threats towards Solano on Facebook right after Laura's murder, but none recently. Solano spent nearly 3 years on Rikers Island awaiting trial in 2014 case, but was released on his own recognizance late last year after a private investigator got a pair of grand jury witnesses to say their testimony was coerced by law enforcement. The PI, Manuel Gomez, said of Saturday's shooting the target was towards the older son, Brian. Solano's lawyer, Don Florio, did not return messages seeking comment. Police removed the entire peephole as evidence Sunday, and a bloody towel could be seen on the floor inside the apartment. Maurice Valdez, a nurse who worked with Martinez at Lincoln Hospital, says she was a dedicated mother. She loved her sons. She would do anything for her sons. Neighbor Hector Flores, age 54, added, "This is a safe building, no drugs, no people hanging out on the corners. To hear the gunshot and find out something like this happened here is shocking." This is like really messed up. This is crazy. Like, this woman is dead because they were coming after her son and they shot her through the peephole. Like, that sounds like some throwback mafia type stuff right there. And they probably didn't even mean to kill her. And of course, they meant the hit for him. But behind a peephole, you never know who is there unless you are the one looking outside from the opposite side. They don't know who's coming to that peephole. But see, the thing is, when she went to the peephole and if she said, "Whose is it?" that person who shot her had to have known that was a female's voice that was asking who was at the door. And they still killed her anyway. And just imagine, her son was in the same apartment, the youngest son, having to hear that. And, he doesn't know what's going on. He got so scared, he probably didn't even hear his mother's body hit the floor. Because, when you're in that state of shock and panic, it's like a lot of stuff just goes on in your head all at once. But that's wild. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one. And answer this question for me. Do you think that her son being connected to a gang and his lifestyle should have led to his mother's death? I'm not saying that it should have or if it shouldn't have, but we know that how a lot of this stuff often works. There was going to be some retaliation down the line. And when it comes to stuff like this, they don't care. But I'll talk to you on the next one.